Hi, and welcome again to another edition of today Daily U.S. Pre-Market Analysis. I'm Gio Benacourt, your host. So let me get, in a few minutes we get started. All right, welcome to today's edition. So let me get started here, getting the disclaimer out the way. Alrighty, the information, context, opinions which are expressed in the presentation and on the following slides are solely those of the presenter and not necessarily those of Vantage, and are solely used for educational purposes as they do not constitute investment advice and/or consultation on how a client should trade. Vantage does not guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information provided herein. My value host, I'm Gio Benacourt, Senior Market Analyst, Market Educator in the sphere of strategy with Vantage, bringing over 20 years of experience as a commodity trader, and I hold a Series 3 license. The agenda for today, we're going to be looking at the economic calendar, what's moving in the markets, identifying key levels of support and resistance, and trading Fibonacci tools. About Vantage, we offer over 1,000 instruments, over 100 chart patterns, over 100 technical indicator and drawing tools, offering CFDs on Forex, indices, share, commodities, cryptocurrencies. What we stand for: lightning fast execution, award-winning 24-hour support, intuitive tools, global connectivity, strict regulation. Okay, well, I like to identify clear, consistent trading habits. I also want to feel comfortable with the prospect of losing money if the market goes against you. I emphasize risk management by using percentage-wise, between 1 and 2% of my total deposited amount. Volatility can spike and spreads can widen, so reducing leverage is a great idea, and the use of stop loss is highly recommended. One of my trading habits, my trading plan includes identifying trends, timing my entry and exit points, risk management, and confirmation validation. Okay, all right. So I like to let's begin with talking about the markets for today. So we've seen that the stock market can get choppy around Federal Reserve interest rate cuts, and it wouldn't be surprising to see a sell-off if the central bank cuts are expected this week. But it is just as likely the market will quickly right itself after any rout and continue to make new highs, now lifted by AI optimism and the prospect of more Fed easing. So many investors are primed for a pullback. After all, it is September, historically the worst time of the year for stocks, yet the major indices continue to break new highs. AI continues to fire up against the big tech company, and names such as the stunning 40% jump in Oracle on Wednesday. The data around Fed rate cutting cycles shows that the market tends to get choppy prior to the first cut and then directly after first cut, and then continues bullish, running to the 7,500 level by the end of the year in the S&P 500. So that's the rhetoric for the S&P. Now, I think it's first important that we have a shared common vocabulary for what technical analysis is. So let's dive right in there. Now, is it just a form of data visualization, or obviously charting, displaying market data in lots of different data visualization modes? Is a big part of where technical analysis came from. So you got to go back hundreds of years to the rice pits of Osaka, Japan, for a gentleman named Munohisa Homa, who invented the Japanese candlesticks as a way to try to capture all of the behavior of traders in those rice pits, with, of course, advanced the discipline over hundreds of years. And there are lots of different chart types, but what I'm going to argue to you now is that technical analysis is far more than just collecting data and displaying it in a way that we can interpret a lot of information quickly. This is part of it, But if you look at definition from some of the very early texts from the 1920s, 1930s, that said technical analysis is about the study of the market itself, all of that price action, all of the investor behavior, everything that is happening in an open, freely traded market is part of our discipline. And I love that definition because it is quite broad. And hopefully, through today's session, you'll understand just how broad and this depth of study that you'll go through. We also know the technical analysis is a study of that supply and demand relationship, that we care a lot about the behavior and the psychology of investor. And it's one of the hardest things to quantify when you're thinking about investment decisions. I'll argue that it is represented in this beautiful element called price, which we can call it also a systematic evaluation. And systems, the reason I bring this quote is that a lot of us have heard about algorithmic trading, high frequency. You might be an advanced programmer. You might know Python or R or many other languages, and that is an important way to express some of the ideas. But even you're not a coder, you're not an algo trader, you should be thinking in terms of systems, a rules-based, repeatable approach. And that's something that was drilled into me as a spend surrounded by some of the best money managers in the business, is that they have a defined, repeatable process or a system that they follow no matter what the market is doing. All right, a refresher from your 101 economy class. Remember, at a fixed rate of supply, an increase in demand is going to move us up the price equilibrium, or a decrease in demand will move price down the equilibrium. All right, so when we are thinking about an open, freely traded market, demand with investors is inherently pushing prices up, and fear or selling pressure is going to push up price down because it's a fixed supply. I want you to hold that thought in your mind because it is perhaps one of the most important parts of the magic that we're trying to unlock here, or the message of the market that we're trying to decode, which is related to learning that if you take the emotion that would be, or there could be, or there should be out of your decision making, and if you look at just what is happening and you can quantify that, you have a big advantage over most human beings. And I will argue for all of us in the investment discipline, there's a lot of emotion tied to those trading decisions that we make each and every day. And those emotional impacts on our decision making can be very negative. So the more you can remove your emotional and cognitive bias from your decision making, the better chance you have of staying on the right side of trends. All right. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. And I'm going to start sharing my charts. We can hop in and start looking at possible trade opportunities for today, being Monday, September 15th. All right, so in front of you, you should be seeing my charts. And so what I like to do is obviously start looking at a month, at a daily. We could look at a monthly chart and see that we have nothing but being bullish on this particular asset, which is the Nasdaq. And basically, we understand that we are in an uptrend. So in this scenario, we understand that the market is fluctuating in new all-time highs. So therefore, we need to use tools that would help us guide or identify a particular level of interest or support and resistance. And one of those tools is the trend-based fib extension. So as a tool, let's just measure the move from Friday, since we closed in the green, and today we open it in the green, and see how much of that momentum can be spilled into the US session open. And we want to use our Fibonacci values, and right away we want to be using the golden proportion, which is sitting right above a particular level of psychological value. So, and the next one, the 50%, even though it's not a Fibonacci value, but let's just use that. And that's how we use for our level of resistance. Now support, we use the retracement tool, same token from Friday's low to so far the today's swing high. We want to measure where the market will retrace. So we have already pulled back during London session into the 50% value or the other values. Let's just go ahead and use our Fibonacci value to be our second level and the 50% marker as well. So you could use that, right? Let's use that. So yeah, we have our levels of resistance and support using our tools. And let's do the same token for the other ones. So from the swing low to the swing high to the swing low. And we already inside those values. Now, can we expand then in that case, since we already, can we just come in and use a previous day? In that case, we will, because we are basically just deep in the in new territory. So let's just use psychological values for a second, and let's use the first value of 38%. Let's do a retracement. So from Friday's low to today's swing high. If that was the case, let's just use then Thursdays. We can have more of a level because the market is just really. So actually, Friday swing low, and then I'm gonna use Fibonacci's value. Basically, that's what it is. Okay, great. So we have our level of support. Now let's do our levels of for the Dow, which is actually lower since. So let's see how much more of a. Now in this case, since we are not making new all-time highs like the S&P and the Dow and the Nasdaq, this for support, I'm gonna use 45,800 psychological value, and right below that, the next level 45,700. As resistance, and well, initially 46,000 again being a psychological level of interest, and then the second level will be the opening of Friday's range, I mean Friday's candle. So here we go. We have those levels for that. Friday was a wild swing for crude oil. Today we opened gap down, so I'm gonna leave the same levels of support that we have last week. They were, well, they actually was this one, well, because this one right here, the market opened below. So let's just use those levels, that swing high. I'm gonna actually bring my first level to level of interest. There we go. So initially another jump to the upside for crude oil. That's going to be contemplated. Then we have nat gas. Also opening up down, opening up up, sorry. And it's now pushing lower. It did push higher earlier. So I'm going to use that swing high today in the London session. My first level of resistance. This is my second level of resistance, and then my first level of support. We contemplate that swing back again towards today's level. So let's just use that. You understand that it did fluctuate lower today. So let's just use that range. So looking to sell the nat gas, gold. So profit taking in gold. It did open with a tiny gap up. It has been closed. So pushing higher, that's what I'm speculating for gold to do. But obviously, again, I'm gonna put this swing low here as my first level of support again. Just tying up my second level to 36.20. All right, and then so I'm gonna leave that 36.60 as my first level of resistance, and then can we contemplate 365? 655, first level of resistance for gold. Silver is basically almost flattish. So Friday swing high. I'm gonna leave that there. Support $42 is where the market actually rebounded off of today. So can we speculate that the market will come in? So let's just do that. Let's just use $42 as our first level of support, and then 41.80 as my second. So probably take it for silver perhaps. So let's see if that will give us a fluctuation to the upside. Then we have here, I'm gonna tying up my levels for copper. I'm looking at copper being sideways for today. Bitcoin had a strong fluctuation to the upside early, but now it's just getting all that back. So let's just use 117.5 as a second. 117 still being the same one. It's another support, another leg down for Bitcoin. The euro fluctuated higher today. We do have 118 as along the ultimate goal for this week, bringing up my level of support towards the psychological support, 117 rounded value, and then 116.800. Great British Pound, 136.200 due to today's swing high, then 136.400 doing the same levels of support, and dollar index giving us a lower leg down. So 97.400, actually Friday swing high. I'm gonna use that for resistance, and 96.800 for second level, first level of support. All right, now that I've found my levels of support and resistance, I'm gonna break it down to an hourly, just to start looking at the momentum being that has had the market, or that the market has done in the last hour. So we still have 43 minutes left on this particular candle, but we have 15 minutes for the market to open, and it's been pushing back, pulling back in this particular hour. So we understand the momentum to the downside initially, but if we were to open right now, we will be opening in the green. The same token for the Nasdaq. So we understand is the Dow the same token? Yes, and stronger volatility here. So we understand that the indices in this hour are in a downtrend. Okay, are in sell-off mode. Is that profit taking? Yes, a lot of it has to do with profit taking. We also understand that there's a correlation between the Nasdaq and WTI. So WTI pushes higher, Nasdaq should be pulling lower, and that's exactly what is happening. So we are speculating. We look at entry longs or being bullish in the WTI. Nat gas is basically gonna be flattish. This contraction of this candle after making that move higher, obviously it's telling me that the sellers are pushing prices down. So we have, and this candle actually open gap down. So the consensus or the direction is to sell. So also gold in this hour has been pushing lower. So we have also another sell indication here. Also for silver, copper, it was in the red, it fluctuated to the higher, now still holding in the green, but it's kind of flattish, and it'll probably turn red. So metals in the red. Bitcoin in this hour has been looking to recuperate. Now this is the bottom of Bitcoin, making this great scenario. It's holding strongly. Now how much more will it hold, or will it make a jump to the upside, or will it continue to decline? Yeah, that's the question that we want to have the answer to. All right, and also the currencies are in the red in this hour of selling, and the other indices in the green pushing higher. All right, so now I understand that I have in the indices I have a red downtrend momentum, selling momentum for the crude oils is in the green buying. Nat gas is about to enter, and the metals also in the red. So we have a lot of them in sell-off momentum. Then I'm gonna break it down to 5 minutes. I'm gonna turn on my VWAP and my fractals to understand, see if I'll be able to use as a strategy, do the reversal of the medium or VWAP, which is the blue line, and looking to obviously enter the markets long. We are, we are in new all-time highs for the Nasdaq. So I'm going to speculate that as when the market opens, the market will open to the downside. Just profit taking. The market is already pricing in that we are going to have a rate cut on Wednesday. How many basis points? We don't know that yet. 25 basis points is what has been obviously baked into the charts. Obviously, we understand that indexes, stocks, they love cuts, and we understand that 25 basis points is already baked in, priced in into the price, baked into the price. So 25 basis points is not gonna really make the market jump. Now 50 basis points, that could make the market jump. Now I understand also that we are in September, which is historically bad for stocks. So can we, rather than seeing the market continue to push higher, can we expect a little choppiness around the Federal Reserve's interest rate cuts? Now, again, it wouldn't be surprising to see a sell-off in the central if the central bank cuts are as expected this week. But it is just likely that the market will quickly right itself after any rout and continue to make new highs. Again, this is lifted by AI. Look at what Oracle did last week, 40% jump on Wednesday. So we are obviously looking to for the market to give us a correction, a 3% correction can be contemplated. So let's see what will happen. So we are outside of our VWAP in this market. Let's take a look. The Dow, actually the Dow is giving us more of a downturn, indeed. And here's the crude oil, so moving, spiking, pushing higher. Nat gas has made a nice parabolic movement. Okay, so a breakout to the upside, target the upper Bollinger Band. Gold looking to make a little pop to the upside, hitting our level of resistance. And then we have silver also looking at that level of resistance. So let's see what will happen. I mean, obviously there's not much that we can come in and say that the markets will fluctuate to a different size. Then we have copper. It's all outside the bands. I think, let me see, Bitcoin is outside below the VWAP. The euro must be above the VWAP, if pushing lower. So let's see if this right here will be that level of support. Pound. All right, so pound retreating as orange pushes higher. All right, so let's take a look at what the Bollinger Bands are telling us. So we can kind of turn off the VWAP for a second, because we understand that we are outside of the VWAP. And initially, if we do happen to see a fluctuation to the downside into the medium 20-day moving average, we can come and contemplate that push higher, because the VWAP is way below the market. So as the market opens, can we see, or can we speculate to see a continuation to the upside on the market, on a rally? And we are already in new territory, and that's the market is so far showing that momentum to the upside. When we open, are we gonna break out? And now possible reversal of the lower band into the medium, into the mean. Crude oil. So because NAS is pushing higher, crude oil is pushing lower, you see. So this candle open gap down has been closed. See, nat gas move strong up to the upside. Gold also did that little spiky. Silver, spiky as well. Copper already did it, but it's already in the red. Retracing. Bitcoin. Ooh. Breakout to the mean. Fluctuated. Let's see if we close above the mean and continue to move higher. Alright, so it did. It closed above the mean. So, possible long scenario here. Let's use, I am gonna use possible entry towards what? I'm just gonna make it tight. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out, right? But I'm looking to go long. Reversal of the median or continuation of the median, a bounce off the medium of the mean to the upside. Let's see what will happen. The upper band is my target. Let's just leave it there and we'll come back to it. Alright, reversal of the lower band. Ooh, this could probably be working right now. So reversal, target, the mean. This piece double bottom. Let's see. So we have another trade open here. Possible trade, right? Oh, okay. The pound. Actually, the pound is walking off the medium, the lower band, and the dollar index. Oh, what a big gap up. It's pushing lower. Let's see. All right. Nasdaq. Josiah was trading choppiness. Again, this is new territory anyhow, on the all-time high. The S&P, when we open, likely we're gonna open to the downside. The Dow will reverse, or is it gonna continue to push lower? Crude oil making a top here. Nat gas, another parabolic movement for nat gas. And we have gold, silver, hey silver. And we have copper, Bitcoin. So our Bitcoin trade of the mean is working so far. 115 initial target. So let's see, that'll be good. That'll be good. All right, so we are here entering this reversal of the lower band to the mean. Can we get that? Can we get that, or are we gonna get stopped out right around 117.558? So pushing higher. Pound. Dollar index. We want to see that puppy fall. All right. Ooh, and we might just have a nice spike to the upside on the Nasdaq when we open into new territory again. So momentum to the upside is built. So we changed our direction. Dow recovery. Crude oil pushing higher. Oh, nice. Not gas. Oh, gold. Silver. Copper. Bitcoin. Oh, nice, nice. See that move to the upside on our Bitcoin trade of the momentum. And so 115. I would have placed my stop loss at 115 by this time, just to be able to save, make sure I cash in on all of that momentum to the upside. Let's see. Obviously, the ultimate goal was the upper band, but we might get stopped out. I mean, 115 actually gave back a lot of profit, hypothetically speaking. And let's see if we do get stopped out, we gotta fluctuate below 115, 115 flattish. Let's see if we're able to close below it or not. Are we closing below it? No. We've gone move higher. Nice move to the upside. Parabolic movement. Boom. Market open. Alright, so we have the market open. Let's see if in this time frame we're gonna get pulled, stopped out. Perhaps not. Perhaps yes. Perhaps not. Perhaps yes. I don't know. Maybe. Oh. That was close. Let's see. Let's see if another attempt goes out, and we're gonna get stopped out. We got stopped out. Okay. Anyhow, this is a profitable trade. So we are in the green on that particular trade. We have the euro. The euro fluctuate higher. Oh man, come on, choppiness. Are we gonna get stopped out? We're gonna get stopped out. Our stop is a 117.558. So let's see what will happen. Pound is just gonna probably most likely just gonna drop. The dollar index is getting, ooh, wow, oof. All right, Nasdaq pushing the envelope here on making new highs. Again, an all-time high. S&P also record breaking. Oof, momentum to the upside. Nice, bullish momentum to the upside. Nice. That's what you want to see. You want to belong to the asset. Ooh, look at this whipsaw on the Dow. That's a strong whipsaw. That is a very strong whipsaw. Crude oil seems to be looking to be pushing lower. Well, let's see what will happen. I'm gonna turn off my VWAP now. I should just have them both on. Alright, so not gas. Gold. Back up. Bitcoin. The market is open, so we have a lot of volatility charts. Take some time to populate, to render. The euro. And we still haven't been stopped out, so we're still in it. And then we have the pound dollar index. Oh wow. Move to the upside. Wow, parabolic movement. Nice. Pushing higher. So Nasdaq 25,000 by the end of the year. Ooh, the Dow is the one that is just. I mean, obviously we're basically in the 5 minutes opening. So let's see what happens. Being able to make that move, that trade higher. S&P 500. So we want to allow the market just to the dust to settle. As we can see, this is a very wild swing. I mean, this is from 45.80 45882 all the way to 45968. And just wide range. Silver is just fluctuating along the VWAP. Copper holding off. Making a symmetrical triangle. Bitcoin looking to bounce off that 115. Right, so the euro trade is working out. So by this time, I will be placing my stop at the swing low of this particular candle. It's continuing to push higher. So another trade that we are in the green. You just got to pull the trigger. And if you're wrong, just check it off and just continue to trade. So 117,650 is our target. Let's see if we'll be able to get that trade. So we have two trades, two positive trades that we entered, both of them in profits. I'm gonna close this already. Looking for other possible scenarios. We have the Nasdaq pushing above. Wow, nice. We'll see a pullback, or maybe not. They're pricing in this particular earnings, so moving higher. Great. S&P, Dow. We're gonna see the Dow in recovery mode. I mean, 46,000 is that psychological level for it to recover. Then we have here crude oils begin to push lower. Nat gas making higher highs. Nice move. Gold, hey, gold, climbing, reaching again new all-time highs. Then we have silver. Continue to push higher. Great copper. Ooh, copper making a breakout move. Breakout move on copper. Then we have Bitcoin that just tanked. So let's see if it'll find that support around this level that previously has found support. But this is a pretty deep red candle. So let's see just how much more retracement will this candle do. See, like I said, Bitcoin moved by thousands. Look, just in this particular candle that opened at 115.039, and it has a low of 114.720 so far. So that's 300 points right there to drop. Look at the euro continue to move higher. So our target basically was hit. It'll be hit so far. Let's do it. And then dollar index, we want to see this puppy just another continue to push lower. All right. So Nasdaq now this level. Oh, Nasdaq is just pushing higher. Pushing higher. Wow. Nice move to the upside. S&P pushing higher. Ooh. Dow still recovering. Ooh, Dow just tanking. Crude oil's tanking, no not gas, jumping, gold jumping. Oh, 3,700. 3,700. That's the silver pushing higher. Ooh, copper broke out to the upside. Nice move. Bitcoin. Oof. Bitcoin just. Let's see. That's the area. That's the zone. Is it gonna rebound from here? Is it gonna find that support that it's been wanting to have, or is it just going to continue to drop? Well, it's a rebound of this level. I mean, now how much more will it do? That's the whole scenario here that we're trying to figure out. Pound, our index, and we have Nasdaq again just breaking the ceiling. Strong momentum to the upside. Strong momentum to the upside. From 180 all the way to 220, changing. It's going to continue to move higher. That was a great trade. Wow. Happy for those that were long the asset, S&P as well. That was the one that is giving us a different scenario. How much more can we? Okay, seeing this, the sky's the limit, right? Just pushing higher. 225. Got pretty good momentum to the upside in this trade. Most of our levels have been hit, so entering the market long would have been the best thing. The S&P is lagging somewhat. Now, could this volatility be the one that is being fueled by Musk's purchase of 1 billion Tesla shares? Yeah, basically, yeah, right. So how we understand that when we enter the market long, that's what we have to ask ourselves. Ooh, that was just continue to drop tremendously. What a strong drop on the Dow. Will the other indexes follow suit after making all-time highs? I mean, look at the S&P. Just is this momentum sustained? Obviously, Tesla is the one that's giving that momentum to the upside after that purchase of Musk's 1 billion shares. $1 billion worth of shares. All right, so the S&P now seems to be profit-taking mode, tracing of what it did the past 10 days, 10 minutes. The Nasdaq is also now in that mode. Retracement, pullback, profit-taking. That was expected, indeed. Then we have here the S&P, the Dow, crude oil, nat gas, gold, also retracing after just obliterating our levels of resistance into new territory, new all-time highs. So 3,700 by the end of the week, by Friday. Copper, Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin continued its momentum to the downside. So next, we have 114. That's our level of support. And then we did hit our level on the euro. That was a nice reversal trade here of the lower band. Pound is just idling around 136. We have dollar index dropping. Let's see what will happen. All right, so we have 15 minutes. So we 15 minutes into the trade fluctuation. So let's see. Have we already made that ceiling for today for the Nasdaq? I mean, obviously the market is open, rally, profit taking. So pricing in that we are gonna have a 25. Now, is this move because there's some insider information and there's a 50 base cut on Wednesday happening? We don't know, but it might be. So what will happen in this particular time frame? We are completely outside of our band. Let's take a look at the what the Money Brands would tell us. So we walk in the upper band, so that's positive for there. Then we have again the S&P coming back to all-time highs. Dow has made its bottom here. Crude oil, not gas, gold. Ooh, gold high, nice spike. Then we have silver. Then we have copper, Bitcoin, the euro, the pound, dollar index. Take a look at the VIX. Ooh, I'll take this spike, but we are in bullish scenario. So yeah, the market is making the top right here around 24 to 25. That's a max for it. Now, all right, so climbing back into the VWAP. So resistance at the VWAP can be expected. Crude oil pushing higher. Then we have that gas hit a resistance level. Gold fast fluctuated above our first levels of resistance. Then we have silver pushing higher. Copper definitely in a rally mode. Bitcoin again looking to find this trajectory. The euro 118, pound dollar index. Looking back at the Nasdaq. So scenarios for today: 24,250 by the end of the day for the Nasdaq. S&P still got to hit out 6620 psychological value. A recovery in that. Wow, what a strong recovery after such a strong sell-off. Just look at this parabolic movement on the Dow. Wow, that would have been a great entry scalping scenario right there. Still pushing higher, Let's see how much higher is going to continue pushing this particular time frame. See, 1 minute 40 left in this candle, and that was a strong reversal just in one candle, retracing what it did in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we hit the upper band, and it's continued to push higher. All right, so it's retracing now. Obviously, that's profit taking. Wow, nice move, nice. How do you know that's gonna happen? Nat gas reversing of that resistance. Gold finally just obviously retracing, profit taking. Copper still on the upside. Pulling back now. How much of a pullback can we see? Bitcoin also did a little bit of a parabolic movement. Euro did so, also pulled back. And the dollar and the pound looking to continue trajectory lower. Okay, we'll see how much of a recovery will the dollar index have. That will be okay. 225 has been hit. All right, we said 250. Push to the upside. Push to the upside. And nice move. Nice move also on the S&P. Dow. 46,000 target for Dow. Crude oil pushing higher too. Gas finally declining. Gold. Silver pushing higher. Copper. OG. This is time for a reversal. And then Bitcoin. Pound. All right. So move to the upside. 24,250. Our levels have been met, and this is just new territory. Market pricing in that particular movement. So wow. Again. Alrighty. Okay, guys. Well, that'll be it for me. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Bye now.